So I noticed something very, very interesting about trading prop firms. You get because if you are to look at it literally, to be honest, when you are trading a prop firm, what you actually have is $8,000. Let's say you are trading a 10K challenge, 10K prop accounts. The actual balance you have there is $1,000, depending on the drawdown that the prop firm will give you. If it's a total of 12%, then you have 1,200. If it's a total of 8%, you basically have $800. You get. So if you are trading and you are risking 1%, what you are basically risking is 10% of the actual capital that you have. You get. That's what you need to understand first of all. And I have I have a 10K account live that I'm trading funded, and I have a funded and I have a personal 1K account. So the max drawdown on the 10K account is 10%. So they are basically the same. You get, they are the same. But after my losing streak last week, I came to notice because in the 1K account I'm risking 10%. In the 10K account, that's challenge account, I'm risking 1% per trade. And after my seven straight losing streak last week, um, I noticed in the two accounts the drawdown on the prop firm was higher than the drawdown on the 1K account, which to me didn't make a lot of sense because if you look at it logically, if I'm risking 10% on a 1K account, and I'm risking 1% on the 10K account, it's basically the same thing. That's 10% of the actual 1K that you have. Yeah. And it came to my notice that it's not necessarily the same. So if you look at it, let's look at it this way. In the 10K account, let's say you lost the first trade, you lose $100. Correct. Now you have $900. You get. And in the prop account, you lose $100, which is the 1% that you risked on that trade. Um, Now you're at $9,900. 10 times difference, right? Difference, right? Anyways, so let's say in the $900 account now, you want to risk 10% again. That would be $90, right? But in the prop account, you want to risk 1%. That would be $99, right? Now you're risking $9 more than the actual balance. Meaning at that point, you're no longer risking just 10%, but you're risking around, say, 11% or so, get of your actual balance. But where things get interesting is that I now decided, all right, let's say both accounts are drawdown. I lost $500 on the two accounts. Get. So I'm risking 10% on the $500 account. That's basically $50, if I'm not mistaken. And I have $9,500. Correct. Now, $9,500, and I decided to risk 1%. Meanwhile, what I actually have is 500. That's I'm left with 5% drawdown. You get, and then I lose that trade. In the $500 account, I risk 10%, which is $50, and in the $9,500 account, I risk 1%. What do you think that is? That's $95. That's $95. So, um, still risking 1% is quite stupid. And at this point, I discovered that what you need to do instead is you use the actual equity that you have and ignore the extra numbers at the back. Because when that becomes profitable to use, when you have crossed the max drop, the 10K, let's say you're at 10,500, that's where, and the thing is that you even risk less You can go yourself and calculate it out. I'm not going to be explaining everything in the video, but this is something I might actually make a dedicated video on it. But this is something that I think a lot of traders will have to learn and most likely get used to, because it's going to be something that will take a lot of calculation to discover and a lot of awareness to what you're doing. Because at first, when I realized it, I was like, does every trader actually know this? You get? Do they know this? Or maybe it's just the profitable ones, or they feel they've never needed it. Because if you check it, you have 9,500, you actually just have 5% left, correct? And you are risking 1%, which means you think you're actually risking, but you're risking way more. Because, come on, you're meant to risk $50, and because you're having 9,500, you calculated it with 1%, and then you end up risking $95 instead of your $50 of what you actually have. So you are over risking more than, let's say, around 15-20%. That's what you are risking on a single trade while you are in drawdown. So I believe if you guys will use this information well, you get. If you want a dedicated video, just leave a like, drop a comment and request for it, and I'll prepare that and I'll drop it.